Hey, welcome to our first episode of Mail Call, where we take your questions and give them our best crack with our answers.
Patrick writes, what are some easy ways of increasing your airsoft gun's range?
There's only a few ways you can affect the range of an airsoft gun without getting complicated and tearing the mech box open and throwing a spring in. Now, if you're lucky enough to have like an XCR or an ICS, or maybe one of the new Masadas where you can do a quick change spring, then you're in luck. Throw a bigger spring in, it's gonna give you more power and therefore more range. Now, if you don't have that, you're really left with two other options. One is tweaking the BB weight. Sometimes the lighter the BB, you will gain range, but you're gonna trade accuracy for that range. I would say try different weights, 0.2, 0.23 gram, 0.25, and even 0.28 to see what works best for you. You might find that sweet spot while messing with the hop-up dial, see what the best combination. And speaking of hop-ups, the other thing is some of these new hop-up buckings that are coming out, which are kind of rehashes of really old designs. The R-hop or flat hop, I think you probably, if you've been following the internet, you've been seeing the buzz around that. And then for gas blowbacks, there's the new A+ Airsoft Devil hop buckings that we've seen in a lot of tests out there that are getting some pretty good range out of these guns. So with that in mind, it gives you a few options. If you can't crack the mech box open, you're looking for easy and cheap, definitely play with some BB weights and also look for a new hop-up bucking. Both of those may get you the range you're looking for.
Gavin writes, are AOR1 and Desert MARPAT the same thing?
It's actually a good question because a lot of people get those two confused. They're close, they're actually kind of cousins of each other. The AOR1 pattern's mainly adopted by the Naval Special Warfare Units or the SEAL teams, and they use it for desert operations. MARPAT is the standard issue uniform for the United States Marine Corps, and the pattern's a bit lighter on the brown tones than the AOR1 pattern, as well as has a slight reddish tone undertoning to it versus the slight greenish undertone of the AOR1 pattern. Also, the big defining factor is that you're not going to see the Marine Corps logo, the globe and the anchor, which is present randomly in the actual pattern itself of MARPAT, not present in the AOR1. So they are totally different patterns, bottom line. They have totally different uses.
Eric writes, what's the best stock CQB outdoor rifle for a beginner in airsoft?
Man, if we had $1 for every time we heard this question, we'd be millionaires by now. What we tell people if it's their first time buying a gun, or at least what I do when I get this question, and I get it just as much as you do, I'm sure, is look for something that, one, you think looks cool, that you're gonna actually have fun playing with, and two, pick something that's comfortable for you. A lot of people will go out there and you're 6'5" and you grab an MP5 and this thing is tiny and you're not comfortable and you're hating life. So make sure you get a chance to hold the gun and kind of figure it out before you make the investment. It's one of those times where just clicking and buy on the internet is not exactly the best idea. Get a chance, look at a few different guns, find what's most comfortable and go down that route. And if we're gonna give some recommendations, I would say definitely for a first gun, stick with one of the big fours, we call it, the G36, M4s, AKs, or MP5s. You're gonna have a good choice of magazines, you're gonna have a lot of interchangeability and a lot of aftermarket parts as well. So even if you don't like your gun in its current form, you'll be able to upgrade it, tweak it, add a lot of accessories on, and kind of get you where you're going. We usually try to steer people away from the lure of the sniper rifle as their first gun as well. Unless you're playing with friends that all are, have sniper rifles and that's it, you're going to be outgunned in a skirmish field or in a real field very quickly when you're having to chamber around every single time and somebody's running at you with the high cap holding down their trigger in full auto. The only other thing we can recommend is stick with reputable brands. Some good starter guns that are in that $150 and under range. You're looking at Echo One, a US company that actually has great warranty service. JG is another one, may not have warranty service, but buy from a retailer that has a great warranty. And then also D-Boys, kind of the same thing applies with the JG. If you're also looking for another brand, KWA has just come out with their CQR line, which is pretty darn affordable and shares a lot of its internals with its professional series cousin. So that's another one, a little bit on the higher end, but it's still under $200 for a starter gun. Well, that's it for our first episode of Mail Call. We had tons of questions we could not get in here, so we're going to try to squeeze those in on another episode. Also, head over to our Facebook page where we actually get our questions from, and check out our store. We've got some really cool swag. We've got custom patches and t-shirts out there for sale. You can get to it from our Facebook page or over at airsoftology.com. Thanks a bunch, and we'll see you back here on the next one where I do a backflip off the roof into a vat of Jell-O.